Remember the sitcom Desperation Playbook? First comes the episode made up of old clips, then a dream episode, maybe even a bit of memory loss. But when the laugh track is trying to save a dying show, there's always one last desperate move. Bring in a cute kid and hope for a miracle. That last effort is called Cousin Oliver syndrome, and it has ended more sitcoms than bad writing ever did. Today we're counting down 9 characters that show a series is almost over. Some were harmless, and others completely ruined their shows. Remember, this video was actually suggested by all of you in the comments, so keep commenting because we're listening. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe because it really helps the channel. Now let's begin with number 1, Olivia from The Cosby Show. The Cosby Show started its 6th season in September 1989, when America's favorite TV family suddenly got a little bigger. Meet Olivia Kendall, the tiny scene stealer who arrived at the Huxtable brownstone thanks to Denise's surprise marriage to Navy officer Martin Kendall. The setup followed classic sitcom logic.
Thank you for explaining it to me.
You're welcome, but you still didn't tell me what you do.
Olivia was the daughter from Martin's earlier marriage, and Martin, played by Joseph C. Phillips, was stationed overseas. Denise, played by Lisa Bonet, was new to marriage and definitely new to being a mother. So, of course, Cliff and Claire took in their new granddaughter. And for reasons the show never really explained, everyone decided Olivia should live with her new grandparents instead of, either set of grandparents she already had. The Huxtables must have had some really good snacks. Now, adding a random kid to a long-running show usually screams desperation. But here's the strange thing. This time, it actually worked. Played by a young Raven-Symoné, Olivia wasn't your typical late-series sitcom kid. She had fearless comic timing and could stand toe-to-toe with Bill Cosby's Cliff Huxtable without even blinking. While other child actors said their lines like robots, Olivia felt real and natural, like she didn't even realize she was supposed to be nervous around the adults.
What color is he at the North Pole?
You have to ask Mrs. Santa Claus.
Well, I want to talk to Mrs. Santa Claus. Do you have her phone number?
She brought back something the show had started to lose: Cliff's connection with a little kid. She could match Rudy's sass, hold her own at the breakfast table, and somehow made his long life lessons feel new again. The Cosby Show ran for 3 more seasons with Olivia in the cast. And unlike most last-minute kid additions, she didn't feel forced by the network. She actually felt like she belonged. Today, Raven-Symoné says that role started her career, leading to That's So Raven and over 30 years in front of the camera. Not bad for a character who entered the Huxtable household just looking for a bedtime story and a steady supply of Jell-O pudding pops. Did Olivia save The Cosby Show? No. But she didn't ruin it either, which, in late-season kid math, is pretty much a miracle.
Number 2, Nicky and Alex Katsopolis, Full House. Full House was the comfort food of 90s TV. It was sentimental, safe, and so sweet it could give your VCR a cavity. It told the story of widowed dad Danny Tanner raising 3 daughters with help from his Elvis-loving brother-in-law Jesse and his cartoon-voiced best friend Joey, played by Bob Saget, John Stamos, and Dave Coulier. The show, which ran from 1987 to 1995, was built on Danny's life lessons, Joey's "cut it out," and Uncle Jesse's amazing hair. Seriously, we're all still a little jealous of that hair. And the fact that he still has it. That really gets to me. Anyway, then there was Michelle, the role shared by Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen, who became a cultural icon when she looked up at Uncle Jesse and said, "You got it, dude." It was sitcom gold.
Climbed over the bars and jumped down all by yourself?
You got it, dude.
But by the end of season 4, Michelle couldn't handle all the cuteness by herself. So what did the writers do? They gave Jesse a wedding, a baby arc, and then, just to be sure, twins. Enter Nicky and Alex, 2 blonde-haired kids in matching leather jackets who existed mainly to cause double the trouble. They weren't really characters. They were props with jokes and matching bowl cuts. Uncle Jesse, now a dad, was trying to balance diapers and his music career. One moment he was rocking out with Jesse and the Rippers, and the next he was wiping applesauce off his leather pants. The twins' only real personality trait was being mischievous together. They stuck to each other like Velcro, constantly overwhelming Uncle Jesse, who just wanted to comb his hair in peace. Becky, played by Lori Loughlin, had to step in before they turned the attic into a playground. The cuteness didn't quite land, The twins weren't the big success the network hoped for, and they ended up feeling more like background noise in matching clothes. In real life, the actors drifted away from fame. Dylan became a Foley artist for shows like Masters of the Air, and Blake became a firefighter. Both made brief appearances in Fuller House, bringing just as much chaos as grown college brothers as they did when they were toddlers.
Dad's got a good point, Mom.
Here they are, still in college after 6 years, Nicky and Alex Katsopolis.
Believe it or not, they only need to pass 2 more classes to graduate.
Nicky and Alex didn't ruin Full House, but when twins in matching overalls show up halfway through a series, you can tell the writers are running out of ideas and reaching into the diaper bag for storylines.
Number 3. Luke Brower, Growing Pains. Growing Pains. Now we've talked about babies and little kids, but what happens when a sitcom tries to bring back emotion with a moody teenager? Growing Pains gave it a try. The show followed the Seavers, a Long Island family led by psychiatrist dad Jason, played by Alan Thicke, and journalist mom Maggie, played by Joanna Kearns. Their kids included responsible Carol, troublemaker Ben, and teen heartthrob Mike Seaver, played by Kirk Cameron. It ran from 1985 to 1992, mixing family drama with goofy humor, lots of hair gel, and more than one episode about Mike cheating on tests. In its last season, Growing Pains went all out with Luke Brower, a rough-around-the-edges, street-smart teen in Mike's class who turns out to be homeless and ends up living with the Seavers. He wasn't a baby with a catchphrase, but he still checked all the Cousin Oliver boxes. Late addition, sad backstory, and a big let's shake things up before we get canceled vibe. Luke was played by none other than a young Leonardo DiCaprio, back when he was a floppy-haired newcomer, not a yacht-hopping Oscar winner. But here's the surprise. Leo actually nailed it. His performance felt real, deep, and surprisingly emotional for a show that once focused on Mike trying to pass math class.
I want to talk about it, George. I mean, you come here after all this time and you say what's past is past. Let's jump into a truck and watch the fireflies.
But even great acting couldn't hide the truth. Luke's arrival wasn't natural. It was a sign of network panic. The show was getting too old for its teen idol phase, and Kirk Cameron was starting to look less like a magazine cover star and more like a youth pastor. The writers needed something, anything, to make viewers care again. Luke wasn't cracking jokes, he was unpacking deep trauma in the middle of a laugh track. And even though the performance was praised, it made the show feel unsure of what it wanted to be anymore. Oh, and that moody teen with the messy haircut? Leonardo DiCaprio left sitcoms behind, starred in What's Eating Gilbert Grape, This Boy's Life with Robert De Niro, Inception, and a little movie called Titanic. Ever heard of it? He also started an environmental foundation and became one of the biggest stars in the world. Just a small little glow-up. Now, Luke didn't save Growing Pains, but Leo? Yeah, he turned out just fine. Sam McKinney, Diff'rent Stroke. Number 4, Sam McKinney, Diff'rent Strokes. Diff'rent Strokes was the show that asked, what if a rich white man adopted 2 black kids from Harlem and America loved it? Well, surprisingly, we did, for 8 seasons. From 1978 to 1986, we watched Arnold and Willis Jackson adjust to life in a fancy penthouse with Philip Drummond, a man who took his housekeeper's dying wish far more seriously than most bosses would.
What you talking about, Willis?
But by season 6, the magic was fading. Kimberly had been sent off to Paris, Willis was hardly around, and Arnold, well, he wasn't so little anymore. Gary Coleman was growing up, and with him went that tiny signature charm. The cuteness level was dangerously low, and in sitcom world, that's a 5-alarm fire. Enter the emergency backup plan. Sam McKinney, played by Danny Cooksey, a freckled little wisecracker with a southern drawl, red hair, and a punchline ready for Mr. Drummond. His mom, Maggie, married Mr. Drummond, and suddenly the family had a new kid who was cuter, younger, and came with a built-in laugh track.
Arnold, you're not a very nice person. Keep your money. I quit.
The problem wasn't Danny Cooksey. The kid had charm and perfect timing. The real problem was the show was already running on empty. The writers clearly thought they could recreate the same magic, but lightning rarely strikes the same luxury apartment twice. The audience wasn't fooled. The show dragged through 2 more awkward seasons before the network ended it in 1986. Sam didn't kill Diff'rent Strokes, but he was the cute warning sign that the end was coming.
Danny Cooksey bounced back just fine, though, becoming a staple in voice acting with roles like Montana Max in Tiny Toon Adventures and Jack Spicer in Shaolin Showdown. He also led multiple bands because apparently surviving a late-stage sitcom role unlocks a bonus level in life. All right, we're about halfway through the countdown, so now it's your turn. Leave a comment and tell us which of these late-arriving characters you actually remember showing up. And hey, if you haven't already, hit that like button and subscribe before another surprise kid shows up in your favorite show and starts calling everyone Uncle. Billy, who's the boss?
Number 5. Billy, Who's the Boss? By 1992, Who's the Boss was trying to answer a new question. How do we keep this show going when all the original storylines are used up? Let's rewind. Who's the Boss ran for 8 seasons on ABC and was one of the defining sitcoms of the late 80s. The show followed Tony Maselli, a retired baseball player turned housekeeper played by Tony Danza. He moves from Brooklyn to Connecticut with his daughter Samantha, played by Alyssa Milano, to work for Angela Bauer, played by Judith Light, a high-powered advertising executive. Also in the mix was Angela's quirky mom, Mona, played perfectly by Katherine Hellman, and her son Jonathan, played by Danny Pintaro. It was a workplace sitcom, a slow-burning romance, and a family comedy all in one. And for most of its run, it worked thanks to strong chemistry, likable characters, and just the right mix of sincerity and slapstick. But by season 8, things were starting to feel stale. So what did the writers do? That's right, time to add a kid. Enter Billy, Tony's young cousin from Brooklyn, played by 5-year-old Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
Billy, what are you doing?
I'm making a cake. Just like you, Tony.
His backstory? Classic sitcom logic. His parents split up, his grandmother gets sick, and he needs a place to stay. Well, Tony steps in as the grandmother's responsible former neighbor. And yes, you heard that right, it's the early 90s. What did you expect? Of course, if you've been following Remember When for a while, you know we talked about Billy in a previous episode about disappearing characters. If not, check that video out after this one for even more nostalgia. All right, now back to Billy. Billy actually wasn't a bad addition. He had that natural kid charm that casting directors dream about, and his Brooklyn accent paired nicely with Tony's. Plus, he had the kind of TV-ready bowl cut that screamed early 90s network note. But his arrival checked every Cousin Oliver box. Late series character, high cuteness factor unnecessary to the plot, and a giant neon sign that said, "We don't know what else to do." To be fair, the show was already on its way out anyway. Tony and Angela's romance had been dragged out longer than it should have been. Samantha was married, Jonathan had stopped being precocious, and Mona was still a queen, but even she couldn't carry the plot alone. Billy didn't ruin Who's the Boss, but he definitely showed up just in time to help roll the credits toward cancellation.
Number 6. Ricky Stevens, The Partridge Family. The Partridge Family, which aired from 1970 to 1974, gave us the groovy musical adventures of a widowed mom and her 5 kids, spreading love, harmonies, and super catchy songs from a psychedelic school bus. It was basically the Brady Bunch with a tambourine. And for a while, America couldn't get enough. But by season 4, the wheels were coming off the bus. The show had been moved to Saturday nights opposite All in the Family and Emergency, and the ratings crashed. Time for the classic sitcom Hail Mary. Add a cute kid and hope for a miracle. Enter Ricky Stevens, the 4-year-old neighbor who just happened to love singing, smiling, and stealing entire episodes from the actual Partridge kids.
Sooner or later, you realize for yourself you can do it.
That was, anyway, played by real-life cherub Ricky Segal. He appeared in 10 episodes and even got a record deal. Ricky Segal and the Segals hit stores in 1973 and quietly ended up in discount bins everywhere. He was supposed to bring fresh energy. Instead, he turned the tour bus into a slow-motion crash. Critics were harsh. One reportedly called him a festering harbinger of a Partridge apocalypse. Yikes, he was 4 years old. The show was canceled at the end of the season, and Ricky Stevens was remembered as one of TV's most awkward late-game additions. To his credit, Ricky Segal kept working.
He did voice work on Richie Rich and Shirt Tales, and somehow ended up co-hosting the 1974 American Music Awards alongside Donny Osmond, Michael Jackson, and Rodney Allen Rippey. That is a lineup for the history books. Ricky Segal didn't kill the Partridge family, but he was definitely there for the final chorus.
Number 7. 3J, Family Matters. Family Matters started as a wholesome spin-off about the Winslow family navigating life in Chicago. But thanks to Steve Urkel's surprise breakout, it quickly turned into The Urkel Show, suspenders, snorts, and all. And we've talked about that in many previous videos. By season 8, even Urkel's antics needed backup. Enter 3J, short for Jerry Jamal Jameson, a smart, streetwise kid introduced as Urkel's little brother in a mentorship program. This wasn't a one-off episode. 3J had a full backstory, bounced through foster homes, abandoned by his mother, and eventually hiding in the Winslow's attic. Naturally, Carl and Harriet decide to adopt him.
I got you the red one. Because I know it's your favorite color, Dad.
Thank you, son.
Played by Orlando Brown, 3J brought charisma and energy to the role. While he wasn't a baby with a catchphrase, he definitely fit Cousin Oliver syndrome, added late to boost the awe factor and shake up a series that had gone full mad scientist with Urkel's teleporters and clone machines. 3J didn't save Family Matters, but he gave it heartfelt moments on its way out. The show ended in season 9 with 3J firmly part of the extended sitcom family tree. Orlando Brown stayed in the business, appearing on The Jamie Foxx Show, voicing characters in Wayne Head and Fillmore, and most famously stealing scenes as Eddie on That's So Raven. In recent years, he's opened up about personal struggles while working on recovery, and we're wishing him the very best.
Number 8. 7. Married with Children. Look, we know we talked about 7 in a previous video, but when you're making a list of sitcom kids who are supposed to save shows and do the opposite, how can you not include them? If Cousin Oliver Syndrome had a mascot, it would be this kid. In season 7, Married with Children was starting to feel worn out, let's say. The network wanted to soften things up, so they tried to make Al nicer and added a 6-year-old, because nothing says fresh start like a random child dropped off by hillbilly relatives. Enter 7, the son of Peggy's cousins, who were played for maximum chaos by Bobcat Goldthwait and Linda Blair, who I was really expecting to have her head spin again, but no luck. Anyway, they dump 7 on the Bundys and disappear, leaving Al to suffer louder than usual. Played by Shane Sweet, 7 was supposed to bring new life to the show.
I love you, you big lug. Give me money.
Instead, he felt like a misplaced character from a canceled TGIF lineup. He didn't fit the tone, the family, or the fans' patience. And just like that, he was gone. No goodbye, no big exit episode, just quietly erased from existence. He even pops up in season 8 on a milk carton labeled missing. That's how committed the writers were to pretending he never existed. Ironically, dropping 7 might have actually saved the show. Once the writers gave up on the cute kid course correction and let the Bundys go back to being terrible people, Married with Children found its rhythm again. It ran for 4 more seasons without him. Shane Sweet actually did just fine though. He starred in Nickelodeon's The Journey of Alan Strange, appeared on Figure It Out, and even voiced Robin in the DC animated universe. Not bad for someone who got erased from sitcom continuity mid-season. So no, 7 didn't save the show, but leaving him behind, that just might have done the trick. Number 9, Cousin Oliver, The Brady Bunch. And here we are, the kid who started it all, Cousin Oliver, the name that launched 1,000 desperate casting decisions. The Brady Bunch, which ran from 1969 to 1974, followed the cheerful chaos of a blended family with 6 kids, 2 parents, 1 housekeeper, and 0 privacy. It was wholesome, structured, and powered by matching outfits and moral lessons wrapped up in under 30 minutes. Cousin Oliver showed up in the final 6 episodes of the Brady Bunch's 5th and final season to, I'm doing air quotes here, add new life to a show everyone knew was gasping for air. It was 1974. The Brady kids weren't little anymore. The charm was fading and the producers decided the only salvation was another kid. His backstory was vaguely explained. He was Carol's nephew. How exactly? Nobody knows. His parents ditched him to go dig up ruins in South America, which is totally normal. Played by Robbie Rist, Oliver was upbeat, accident-prone, and aggressively wholesome, like handing out juice boxes at a biker bar.
Can't you guys be a little bit more quiet? Dad can't get any sleep around here.
So, what was the problem with Cousin Oliver? Well, everyone could sense the desperation. The Brady Bunch wasn't evolving, it was backpedaling. The show was canceled after his brief stint, and TV history was made. From that point on, any awkward late-season addition designed to boost ratings got tagged with the label Cousin Oliver Syndrome. Despite the punchline reputation, Robbie Rist bounced back just fine. He kept working steadily with roles on The Mary Tyler Moore Show, Grady, Galactica 1980, and voice work for Doc McStuffins, Balto, and Naruto. If Michelangelo was your favorite Ninja Turtle in the 1990s live-action movies, well, that was Cousin Oliver. Turns out, Cousin Oliver might have helped sink the Brady Bunch, but Robbie Rist is still standing and making noise, literally. So there you have it. 9 characters who failed to save fading shows, but became legendary for all the wrong reasons. We remember these characters precisely because they were such obvious, desperate attempts by networks to keep their cash cows going. Did we miss a painfully obvious Cousin Oliver? Drop it in the comments and let us know. And if you want more retro TV breakdowns, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.